Good afternoon and welcome back to another ironic introduction to another video. Today I'll be reviewing Ori and the Blind Forest, the definitive edition. This game was amazing. It is a platformer, absolutely stunning. I believe available on both Xbox, PlayStation, and on PC. And it is just absolutely amazing. I really have only one very small complaint about this game, but other than that, it is just absolutely phenomenal. If you catch it on sale, you can get it for $5, which is absolutely crazy. I got about 6.5 hours of gameplay out of this game, and I'm a very fast, aggressive, rush for the end kind of a player. I've had someone jump in and tell me they've spent 12. I would expect the typical person to get somewhere in the region of 8 to 15 hours, depending on how fast you're playing, how driven you are, how into the story, slash how good you are at platformers, etc. This game is really cool because typically on a platformer, your character feels really big in comparison to the world around you. So, in the perspective of the game, you are your character and then you impact the environment around you, etc. But in Ori and the Blind Forest, your character is so incredibly small, and while you can interact and essentially use light to destroy your enemies, a lot of times you're using your enemies as a form of additional platforming, a form of just trying not to get killed, etc. And the world is incredibly expansive and all interconnected. And the definitive edition gives you the ability to warp, which I did, and that definitely cuts some down of the time. But I think at the same time, I lost some of the value of the game in having to cross the map and really getting a full understanding of this one big world that is Ori and the Blind Forest. Now, the game has you, for the most part, only playing Ori. You play another character as well. They do a hardcore, text overlay on the screen in order to give you an understanding of the game, as far as the story content and the progression of the game, etc. And from there, while it is relatively linear, for the most part, your abilities and how far you progress in the game kind of dictate what you can do, where you can go. So there's this semi-puzzle aspect to it in addition to the platforming. You are, for the most part, in an open world, an open environment, yes, you're limited in which directions you can go or gated in which paths you can take, but there's a lot of secrets, a lot of extra stuff that you don't have to do, just kind of naturally weaved into the game. You could just completely ignore these things, but if you're like me and you look through every corner, or you saw, hey, a little nook and you wanted to get there, this game allows you to do that all the way from start to end, and it's just absolutely amazing. That said, as much as I think this game is an absolutely amazing buy for anyone who enjoys a platformer, or even people who don't, because I'm not typically a platform gamer, and this game is just so incredibly fluid and the controls are so natural and incredibly positive feeling, that I think that even people who aren't into platformers might be interested in dropping the $5 to really give this a shot when it goes on sale. But all of that said, I think my only complaint is on the map. Now, the map is not the world's greatest. Once you've unlocked the next area of a map or anything and you've shown it, it's kind of counterintuitive. It doesn't show essentially gates, because there are things that kind of prevent you from moving. So you have to remember where you are gated on, or where you saw a gate. There's no way to zoom in to see what you're trying to look through. So if you have an unexplored area, you might not know why, and then you end up running back there just to find out, oh yeah, I forgot, I need to get an ability to do that first, and that can be incredibly frustrating. Additionally, from the beginning of the game, there's so many areas that you might not have access to because you don't have abilities in order to access them, and the map it kind of lights up as you've explored an area. Now, you might not have actually entered the nook or gone through the secret passage, but it will light up on your map as if you had just because you saw it. And that can be incredibly frustrating because like when you're trying to go back and figure out where you need to go or where maybe the next step is, there's no directionals, no key indicators, and your map might already be lit in a place that you're actually supposed to go next. So that can be very frustrating as well. But honestly, beyond that, like maybe just a little bit of tune up on the map, like a better key indicator of like directionals for where you're supposed to go, or maybe just like a better light up system so the map is more usable. I think this game was just phenomenal. And honestly, if you're picking it up for $5, that is such an incredibly minimal, like, hey, I wish I could have something else, but that's just because that's how amazing this game is, that at the end of the day, I'm nitpicking like the map. So that said, that is Ori and the Blind Forest. There is a sequel called Ori and the Will of the Wisps, which I will definitely be playing. Not necessarily immediately, because I'm not that kind of a gamer. I can't go from like original to sequel. I'll have to put some time between me and the next game, but I will definitely be playing it. This game was so much fun and so incredibly satisfying to play. So that said, I hope you guys, get something out of this review. Maybe it helps you decide whether or not you want to play it. Maybe the game looks awesome. I have all of the game in 3 long sessions. But as always, I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.